co-founder and current steward of United Earth, and I'd like to give you a brief introduction as to what we're doing. So if you feel inspired to play and participate, there's amazing stuff happening in the world today. Many different groups and organizations are starting to come together now, and United Earth since 2015 has been focusing on co-creating a framework for an open, inclusive, and solutions-oriented global platform for all people and groups wishing to unite and collaborate for a whole systems transformation of human society. So the vision that we are holding is a common vision that is emerging in many different groups. They would resonate with this. And this is, we are co-creating a world where all people are free to explore our passions and interests, to live our unique individual and our full collective potential, to celebrate our unity throughout our diversity, to co-create abundance through sharing and gifting, and to thrive in harmony with each other and with our natural environment. And since the inception in 2015, we have organized various events and actions pretty much without any funding, except for one event whereby travel expenses and the venue was gifted. We've been organizing many different events, producing videos, and now we're organizing a Planetary Positive News education campaign. And we're coming to a point where we now are inviting money to start flowing so we can really start to operate far more effectively, especially at the global scale. One of the main areas that United Earth is dedicated to is to making the invisible visible. An article I wrote called "A Proposal for a Global Renaissance" speaks to what we already have in terms of solutions and people and projects and global networks and everything. So much is coming together. We have everything we need to navigate a coherent global renaissance. The main missing ingredients are really now to invite in the money flow, those philanthropists, people, foundations, businesses who have the vision to invest in this new paradigm, to now connect them to the grassroots organizations that are really poised and ready to fly as soon as the financial flow starts to be released. And this is very widely recognized within the grassroots movement, whereby so many groups are coming together with the same vision, with so many amazing blueprints and tools ready to go, just need the financial support so that we can move freely and activate these global events and actions. And so what is the potential if all of these organizations united around a common intention? And this is really what we're looking at, is tapping in. How can we tap into the collective potential that is already here, the collective potential of us working together more and more effectively across sectors, across countries, across cultures, so many different organizations, hundreds of thousands around the world, essentially working for the same thing. And United Earth has been dedicated now for a long time to bridge those gaps, to find that common ground where we can all meet each other across all these sectors. So the global unified actions that we're focusing on currently are a Planetary Positive News education campaign and the Global Synergistic Co-Creation Quest. The education campaign is essentially to create the world's most inspiring and comprehensive solutions awareness campaign. And we're doing this by connecting and mapping positive news groups, existing directories of solutions, mapping directories of all the different projects that are connected to building a new Earth, regenerative education groups, all the permaculture, everything from permaculture to nonviolent communication, alternative education groups, all the alternative schools, unschooling, homeschooling, Montessori, Ubiquity University, inviting them all in with the independent media groups and possibly local news groups as well, to really co-create this planetary campaign. And many organizations are already signing up because we are recognizing there's practically a consensus that one of the biggest deprivations in human society today is a starvation of inspiration. People are just not finding any positive or inspiring news in the corporate media, while there is actually so much amazing stuff happening. So it's in our own interest and in the world's interest to share this information as widely and as effectively as possible. So it's really a very inclusive and inspiring platform for many, many different groups and organizations to get involved with. And so we intend to attract high-profile supporters and supporting organizations, thereby attracting ever more attention exponentially, especially when we start to weave in organizations and people who have extensive trust networks and spheres of influence. And then that just becomes like a positive feedback loop that just self-generates and grows, attracting more and more attention as we grow. So one of the ideas is to launch this campaign with a Food for All campaign, which is basically going to be mapping, tracking, and supporting, identifying those groups and actions that are most effective in addressing world hunger and starvation, and really seeing how we can bring them into collaboration so that we can support this and also make the solutions more visible to the world, where so many people are feeling helpless and disconnected from the governments that aren't acting decisively on this basic violation of human rights at an astronomical scale. The second global action is a global synergistic co-creation quest, where we're actualizing a global network of physical spaces where field leaders from all sectors can gather in person and virtually to design, co-create, and integrate the architectures, blueprints, and transition models for a global renaissance. So it's really about recognizing that we need to come together in the same physical spaces now, where we can take all of these different puzzle pieces and bring them together into this bigger picture transition design strategy that is emerging in so many areas, so many fields all around the world. And these locations can then also become new paradigm research, education, and demonstration centers. So yeah, we start with designing the first one, and then that first one is designed to spawn a whole global network of spaces where people can come together in service to the new paradigm, and that will be connected to the Planetary education campaign, because we're going to be live streaming a lot of these different synergistic co-creation quests around the world. So it's a really integral part of how they are mutually supportive. So we've got the leaders creating the blueprints, and at the same time a planetary campaign to help inform the public on so many of the solutions that we are going to be integrating into our planetary transition. So what we have is a massive global network of field leaders. We have design strategies for planetary unity and collaboration, more and more coming in all the time. So many creative ideas on how to inspire people, how to attract attention, how to collaborate and cooperate more effectively. We have skilled people and organizations around the world ready to co-create these actions. We have several locations where teams can come together, even locations for these extended period synergistic co-creation quests. The main thing that we need are the financial resources to bring the people, facilities, and design strategies together. This is really the key ingredient. So many organizations around the world are struggling and investing so much time and energy into finding funding, and these actions are inherently designed to attract further philanthropy, to inspire further philanthropy, impact investment, crowdsourcing, and an extensive variety of regenerative business opportunities. This is whole systems. We are tapping into the collective genius of the field of conscious cultural transformation. And the seed fund we are inviting to kickstart this is 150,000 to bring these key people, these groups together to coordinate and catalyze these global unified actions that will attract progressively more and more attention and more resources. So we have several other tools that we're looking at, various counters that can be embedded on a website, a global council of high-profile leaders and organizations, inviting them to all gather around a common intention to co-create a more beautiful world, and thereby creating like a magnetic attractor for the entire global transformation movement to come into alignment, to support this planetary transition, to promote this planetary transition that will then inspire all of humanity. We have this power within us when we harness our collective influence and our trust networks and our collective intelligence and genius. We can start to manifest a very, very rapid systemic change. And part of this is also allowing the money to flow. Money has been the major obstacle for a lot of these evolutionary organizations to function at full capacity, even at minimal capacity, because the money that wants to invest in the new paradigm is not finding its way efficiently. So part of designing that infrastructure is to create a planetary transition mother fund that will be transparently managed by stewards and wisdom councils. And that way, you know, the whole field will be identifying which are those people and projects that can have the most impact on the ground, and as well for holding space for this movement to grow in a beautiful, coherent way. And part of this, what will be designed at the Synergistic Co-Creation Quests, is a planetary strategic design plan. How we can transition in each of the sectors seamlessly from the status quo of competition and scarcity into regeneration and abundance for all. We are getting organized. It is happening now, and we are inviting funders, visionary philanthropists who want to support this movement to step up and co-create with us. We don't just want money. We want you to participate in this historic planetary movement. So thank you for listening, and we look forward to hearing